Well, everyone, the iPhone 6s is one of those iPhones that came out so many years ago. So I want to go ahead and take a look at some of the ways and how this iPhone is still holding up in the later part of 2024. Now, as you can probably, tell, this phone is not really worth buying in any capacity anymore, and I really would not recommend a single person to go through and buy this device. There's definitely way better phones that I would recommend people to buy rather than this thing. So if you want to pick up some of those phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of the iPhone 6s, on the front side of this phone, you're getting a 4.7-inch IPS LCD panel. Now, this type of panel, as you probably would have expected, it's a pretty basic type of device. It's definitely not like the nicest looking panel of all time, and it pretty much is a pretty basic type of panel. Big bezels on the top and the bottom, big massive, fingerprint sensor on the front too, which could be nice for a lot of people. But I will tell you, as you probably would have expected, this is going to be a pretty basic type of layout for the most part. So once again, kind of keep that in mind when it kind of comes down to it there. Now, on top of that, another very big thing, this was one of the last iPhones with the headphone jack, which was pretty surprising. So if you're into still maintaining a headphone jack here, well, at least you can go and get a phone like the iPhone 6s that is going to be giving you some sort of capability there. So kind of keep that in mind when it kind of comes down to it. On top of that, you're also still maintaining and you're still getting aluminum back, camera setup. There's nothing really super crazy going on with this phone. Some things that most phones have nowadays that this phone is lacking are things like, an actual IP certification. You're basically not even getting any sort of wireless charging, no USB-C, no OLED display, no high refresh rate, no super high brightness, no Face ID, big bezels on this thing. Like, it's a pretty lackluster experience and only a single camera. That could be kind of a disadvantage for a lot of people here. So kind of keep that in mind when it kind of comes down to it from that side. When it comes down to probably the biggest area where this phone is probably taking a humongous hit on, it's the software longevity. This phone is pretty much already done getting software support. It's been done since iOS 15. So from that side, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to go and buy a phone like this anymore when you can go through and buy a different type of device. Like, if you can go through and buy a phone that's going to be giving you a better experience, well, that one might make a little bit more sense, because this one, in my personal opinion, just doesn't really make a lot of sense to go ahead and buy, because you're basically done already getting software support. So what's the point of getting this phone when you can go through and get a phone that's still going to be giving you better, still going to be giving you long-lasting software? And like I said before, this type of device isn't really going to be giving you that in this particular situation. But the other big thing going on here too is probably when it comes down to the performance. The performance of this phone really isn't that great either. So you're getting the Apple A9 chip inside of it with 2 gigabytes of RAM. So with this type of situation, this type of phone isn't really going to be giving you that great of a performance either. It's a very, very slow performing phone. And compared to a lot of phones that have already came out, this one just doesn't make a lot of sense to go ahead and buy, because you're already in a situation, as you probably would have guessed, where this phone's performance just really isn't that great anymore. So once again, I would hate for you to go through and buy a phone like this if it's already done getting software support and if the performance really isn't that great either. And that is, in a way, kind of what's going on here. So once again, I would hate for you to go through, buy a phone like this if it's already done getting software support and getting everything. And that is essentially kind of what's going on here for the most part. So overall, the iPhone 6s is probably not one of the phones I'd recommend a majority of people to buy. There are way better phones to go and buy rather than this thing. So kind of keep that in mind, but that's kind of how the 6s holds up in this day and age. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.